to Germany 6 months ago, Peter had wanted nothing more than to be a part of Tony's life. Tony understood him, and why he was a hero. Like him, Tony had dealt with a lot between running his company, dealing with the reputation of the playboy, and being kidnapped in Afghanistan. Even though he wasn't sure if Tony knew everything, Peter figured that Tony had some idea as to the fact that Peter had his own demons, which was what drove him to be a hero. I think so too, Mr. Stark. The team replied, now, what do you say we head down and tinker in the lab? Tony asked, after a moment, you can grab your suit, and I can change out of this monkey suit. All right, Peter, Tony said as he and Peter put the finishing touches on his web shooters. We're just about ready to test these new bad boys. Got it, Mr. Stark, Peter said as he chose them up and placed them on his wrists. These taser webs were a great idea. Well, of course, I'm a genius bully now. Tony replied, with a genius intern. Peter couldn't help but blush at his mentor's compliment. All right, ready when you are. Peter stepped out into the middle of the test area of the lab, as Tony stood behind him. Dummy, you and Friday are all on standby, he said, watching his intern prep his web shooter. What could go wrong with a taser web shooter? Peter asked with a smile on his face. Famous last word, good. Tony simply replied. Peter chuckled and rolled his eyes, extending his arm. With the press of a button, the web was fired and landed on the test dummy. It wasn't a real person, so if it weren't for the burst of electricity, they wouldn't have shown known it would work. Oh, we did it! Peter shouted. It worked! Tony laughed as he gave Peter a high five. Nice job, kids. I can't wait to try these out on the show, the team said. Now, remember, this should be used when things get hairy. The last thing you need is running out of webs when you really need it. Right, I need to work on that too. I should increase storage capacity too. Friday, what time is it? It's 6:30, boss, Friday replied. You and Peter have been working for about 3 hours. Well, I don't know about you, Peter, Tony asked his mentee, but I'm getting really hungry. Oh, yeah, I could eat, Peter replied a little too quickly, making him blush yet again. It was pretty clear that it was his metabolism talking. Tony obviously saw this and gave the team a gentle smile. Don't worry, buddy. I'll make sure you're fed, he said as he wrapped an arm around Peter and guiding him out of the lab. We can order some pizza. Sweet, Tony said, smiling at his mentor. Nothing better than New York pizza. Tony sent an evening item in his seat at a table in the kitchen. Truer words have never been spoken, Mr. Stark, Peter replied, wiping his mouth with his napkin. What was the pizza like in California? You've never been to California? Peter shook his head. My parents took me on trips to Disneyland in Florida, the Jersey Shore, Coney Island, and Hershey Park, he said, crossing his arms and leaning back in his seat. Oh, I'm sure that was fun, Tony said with a smile. Oh, yeah, definitely, Peter said, nodding. I remember this one time we went to Disney. We went to the Magic Kingdom, and I was 8. We stayed in the park late to watch the fireworks show. I was too short, so Ben picked me up and put me on his shoulders, so that I could see them better. The team suddenly trailed off at the moon, allowing a look of nostalgia and sadness to cross over his face. Tony noticed this and leaned forward. Your uncle sounds like a great man, he said quietly. And then he chuckled. Yeah, it was one of the best, he said. He and May. My parents died when I was only 4, so my aunt and uncle had always been there, you know? 3 of us were basically a team. But don't get me wrong, May and I are still a team. But when Uncle Ben died, it felt like something was missing. They both said in unison. Both the veteran and the rookie stared at each other suddenly, completely shocked at what had just occurred. Yeah, missing, Peter said after a minute of silence. What? How? I felt the same way when my parents died, Tony explained. Mostly my mum, and when my butler, Jarvis, died years ago, it was like a father to me too. There's just this void, and it feels so wrong.
Yeah.
But Peter thought about it. He realised with